Hey, good morning, everyone. Crafty Carl here, back at you with another video. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And as always, please feel free to leave your comments down below. And I always like it when you hit that subscribe button. The channel is starting to grow here. I'm very happy about that, and I appreciate everybody's support. Now, in regards to support, let's talk about the supports that we send some of our parts out. I had a meeting with the production team last week, and we talked about some new products that we have coming into the store shortly, which I will be doing an update on that in the next week or so. And we also talked about some of the feedback we received from customers that bought certain parts and they weren't expecting supports to be in place when they received their parts in the mail. So I want to talk about how we decide on which parts go out with supports on them and which parts go out with the supports removed. In the beginning of the launch of our store, we started to send all the parts out without the supports in place. And what we realized after some feedback in the beginning was that some of the parts, no matter how well we packaged the parts inside the box and how much buffer material we put in there, some of the parts ended up being broken, or something was distorted. Whatever the case may be, in every case, we reached back out to the customer and we said, hey, we're going to send you a replacement part free of charge. That's how we roll. We pride ourselves in having the best customer communication and support out there for a 3D printing company that specializes in model parts, and especially scale semi-truck model parts. So this morning, I just want to quickly go over how we decide which parts get supports left in place and which parts come out clean, supports removed, and then packaged into a bag and then packaged into the box. So let's take a look at a few parts on the table here. And I'm going to go over to the website after we look at some of these parts, and I'll show you the updates that we're starting to implement into the website on every product with all the information you need there, and now including a picture of what the part will look like when you receive it in the mail or when it gets shipped out, and what you will need to be prepared for when it comes to some of the parts. They come in a multi-piece as well, or a single one-piece version. There's the options there for the more advanced builder. Like I've always said, we want to cater to everybody. So we want to cater to the novice builders out there, and the guys that are just the people that are doing just the basic stuff, and then the more advanced builders out there who want to do, say, the multi-piece ratchet binder. Some of this stuff is tricky to work with, and like I said, we want to cater to everybody. That's why we have parts in say a basic form, and then we have parts in a more advanced form for somebody who really wants to get intricate with the building. So let's take a quick look at the stuff on the bench here right now. Okay, I've got a few parts laid out here on the bench, and some of these parts may or may not show up with supports in place. All these parts in front of me right now have supports on them, and I just want to show everybody what it's going to look like if you do receive a part with supports in place. So, say this walking beam suspension, for instance. This has got a lot of supports in place. One other thing production wanted me to mention was that in regards to the product, the materials that we use, it's either resin or filament. But in some cases, if it's so cold and dry out, a lot of the moisture gets pulled out of these parts. They can become brittle. Not brittle to the point where if you just touch it, it's going to break. Even on the thinner parts here, like I'm pushing on that. But in some cases, it can happen. And we want people to be aware that it depends on the material that we're using. So resin is usually a lot easier to work with because it's softer than the filament. But regardless, just so that's understood out there by our potential clients and the ones that have ordered stuff already, we want to make sure that everybody knows what goes on with some of this 3D printing stuff, because it's not like a styrene injection molded model kit that you buy off the shelf at the hobby store. But in one case, it is like that, whereas if you do receive a part with supports in place, you will have to remove the supports, no different than taking your parts off a tree inside a model kit. So that was one of the biggest things production wanted me to get the point across on that, and take a look at some of this stuff. Now, some of these winches go out clean and other ones go out with these supports in place here. So I've got some of the boomers here as well. And in some cases, you'll receive the boomer where everything's been removed. And in other cases, you'll have it like this with the supports in place. And it's easy enough to work with if you're familiar with how to remove support. And like I said, communication is the key. We just want everybody to be aware of what's happening and what to expect when you place an order. So there's a few examples of how you remove supports that are in place. And you just have to take your time when you're doing it. And like I said, we're going to go over to the website and take a quick look at the updated information there. Okay, so I'm at the home page. When you type in the search bar 3dconceptslimited.com, you come to the home page, and for those viewers who have seen the home page before, you'll notice that I have updated some of the pictures in here. But in regards to what we are doing as far as updating information for everybody, now here's one thing, let's go through it real quick. Product information. Now this really helps if you click on this page. Customer service and communication is the biggest thing to us. So what we have here is we have materials, supports, and preparation. We talk about a lot of the products, the filament, the resin, and this supports here. This is new. 3D Concept Limited builds some of the most advanced products available on the market. And you'll read the rest of this, and it talks about the supports that come in place on some of our stuff. We have wheel information here. I did a video a while back there, and I show how we've scaled our wheels to fit every factory tire out there. So you've got all this information regarding wheels, dimensions, you've got exhaust stack information. Look at this, like right from factory 5-inch all the way up to big sewer pipe 8-inch stacks. These are the diameters in 116. We have all the information here too. Obviously this is 124, 125, and you know how to place an order, order completion and confirmation. This is a very informative page. This is why we have it up here. We want to help everybody. We've got a search bar now. So if I just type in there winches, and that works really nice. So anything with the word winch in it comes up. The search bar really helps out, and it's working quite well. So now let's take a look at one of the items that have been updated. And like I said, this takes some time. We're working on it. When we click on the Tulsa 1500. Now we don't have a picture of it yet. That's coming. We got a picture of the winch, but in red, we've written here, this item is shipped with the printed supports in place. We want everybody to know that, like, as much information as you can get up front. We want everybody to complete their orders, but we want them to complete it with the most information available. So just this winch, for instance, okay, look at the information that's put in here. This winch comes in either a long drum version or a short drum version. Again, this item is shipped with printed supports in place. Now, there's going to be a picture updated, like I said, but on the short drum, you've got all the dimensions here. On the long drum, you've got all the dimensions there. Real world part dimensions are our biggest friend, and we strive to get them when we can't find them. And we search and search until we do find them, because we're not going to produce something that's way out of scale. As a model builder for as many years as I've been building models, this is important to me, and was right from the beginning. We can't send anything out the door that doesn't look right and it's not scaled right. So when some people say, oh, hey, the winch was too small or whatever, I'm sorry, we don't want to argue with anybody, and we never will, and we want to try and satisfy everybody. And like I said, from the most advanced skill level to the novice guys, people just getting into the hobby, whatever. We're happy to support everybody and help everybody. But when you look at the dimensions here, a lot of work went into that. And we just do the scaling math. If it's 125, it's 25 times smaller than the real thing. If it's 24, it's 24 times smaller. If it's 16, it's 16 times smaller. Now, maybe I just didn't have to say those three things right there to a lot of folks, but I felt the need to say it to everybody, because we're not just winging it here. A lot of time goes into making sure, okay, well, if the real world part was 789 millimeters, then we divided that by 25 and we came up with the dimension that we printed in. So it's very important to note that. There's going to be a link to this video on the website now, and they can watch this video and just help them make the decisions they need to make when they're ordering parts. If you want to order multi-piece, if you want to order one piece, and how much effort and skill that you want to put into your model. Okay, so that wraps it up for this one. And for all of our clients out there, we sincerely appreciate all your support and feedback. A lot of our clients have helped us improve our parts or made suggestions that were extremely helpful, so we can provide the best 3D printed parts out there for scale model trucks. And on that note, I just want to say again, please check out all the information before you make a decision, before you place an order, and that way you're not going to have any surprises when you receive your parts in the mail. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks as always for tuning in, and keep on building those models.